Hi, good evening. I'm Dan Dobbs. This is a house of broken Dobbs things. I have a garage overloaded, going over the edges with stuff. Something's always broken here, so hence the quirky channel name. So tonight I got just a little quick one for you. I'm standing here in my Harrison Lathe. It also was sold under the closing name in the U.S., but it's a Harrison M250. Originated in England and was sold here as near as I can backtrack into a technical school. It's got all the apprentice marks that you would expect, and I want to show you a couple of the features tonight and just start producing some content to maybe chronicle some of the things that I'm finding, some of the things that other folks have chronicled are extremely important to me and what things I restore. So I want to show you just a couple of things. Again, my garage is an absolute disaster, but it's in process. So, I'm going to go hands held here just for a quick second. So, looking at this is my Harrison M250. I do use it. It is not a beauty queen. It has been purchased and it is used quite frequently. So basically it is a D13 chuck and it has a geared head. It is a 223 phase running off of VFD. The original electronics and so forth, I've taken the original switches and then basically moved them into a current functionality, and it is an imperial lathe. They came in both types, metric and imperial, but it has a imperial lead screw, and one of the things we'll be working on in the future is cutting some gears and turning it into a metric thread cutter as well. So a couple of things I want to share tonight with just basic maintenance issues. Coming up right here on the controls as far as the cross feed and the compound, there's a couple of things for maintenance, and I just want to share that with you. But before I get started on that, I just wanted to give you an idea. Dial this back right here, and I'm set up, and I want you to notice that the backlash on this thing is just about nil. So we got a few thousands and so forth, but again, this was put through a tech school, so that's some pretty rough service that you get a bunch of technical minded kids, maybe some adults, but they give them a pretty rough way to go. So basically I wanted to qualify before we get started here that the backlash on this machine is actually quite good. In addition to that, I also wanted to highlight, for those of you that may have a Harrison, there are a couple of screws here in the back that you use to adjust the backlash. These guys right here, on this one and this guy right here, they are loosened, and you work the screw back and forth a little bit and then retighten them. It has a spring-loaded device in between that actually takes up the backlash, and that's what somewhat explains my fairly good performance on this one. A couple other things to note on this one that were kind of interesting, and I didn't notice them in the book, is this guy right here, and again I'm working upside down with the camera. There's an Allen screw right here. From all my looking at this right now, I believe that is a cross feed lock. So you lock that down and it locks the cross feed from any further motion. These two screws are on the opposing side, specifically for the feed nut. These elements right here, right on this, these are oiling points. They are all over this lathe. So there's two there, additional two here. Coming back on the ways, there's another one. Coming back on the front of the carriage, there's yet another. Coming up on the hand wheels, another and another. And then also moving this out of the way slightly, you'll find yet another. And going back to the tailstock, there's yet another. And coming all the way back, I got another on the screw. So quite easy to maintain, specifically on this one. And I've done just a little light maintenance on this tonight. Looks like, from what I'm looking at, if you can see that or not, got just a little bit going on specifically in the compound. It needs to be tweaked up a little bit. In addition to that, you can adjust the carriage as far as the height and drag. The normal carriage lock is right here, and the fill port specifically for the gearbox on the carriage is right here. And again, it is pretty self-contained. On the controls, sorry about the lighting a little bit. Again, your feed nut lock right here for threading, and this is your cross feed and your down feed. You change that position going pulling this knob in and out. It's either going to engage the cross feed or it's going to engage the longitudinal feed, and it is very, very smooth, and it is very easy to operate. One of the things I had to fix when I got this one is on the hand crank on the carriage, the actual feed gear inside was demolished. I'll post some pictures of that later. But that was largely caused by a very, very soft gear and having the compound or the carriage locked, and then activating the hand wheel and actually forcing it, and it just chewed that gear to pieces. So beyond that, maintenance wise, it's really required basically nothing. It is very well mannered, it has very good control, it's very quiet, and enjoy it a lot. So that's just a quick walk around specifically. One of the things I had to fix tonight was the down here, the crank on the cross feed. The bolt itself, looks like they kind of cobbled it a little bit and it was bent, so I had to chase those threads out and then apply a little bit of red lipstick to it. I like Bruce Witham, I do enjoy this new stuff, the gel stuff. It's very easy to control, and it does a really basically nice job. So those are a few things on the Harrison M250 I wanted to point out, and specifically to this lathe. It's an 11-inch swing. Pardon me for not hitting the metrics just right, but again, it's very quiet and it runs very smooth. So accuracy seems to be pretty tight. We've set it up and we've adjusted the tailstock a few times, and you'll see that I've had my tools out tonight working, but it does a great job. So it has a lubrication system on it. I don't have it active at current, but it's all there, and there's a foot pedal brake and all those wonderful elements too. So just a real quick overview of the Harrison. Again, it's also badged as a Clausing 11, specifically when Clausing stopped really manufacturing a lot of stuff and just became an importer. A very sad thing. They made some great equipment in their day, but this one is very tight, very heavy, and does a great job. So that's it for tonight. I just want to run over a couple of quick things with it and share it with you. And if someone has one of these, they can reference this, or if they see any corrections they'd like to make, please comment, share, like, all of those wonderful things. And as we go through, we'll continue looking at some of the equipment and the things that I'm fixing, and then go from there. Thank you. From me, there we go. I appreciate your time tonight, and have a good evening. Thanks.